Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to West Lafayette, Indiana. It's a big day for the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are literally arriving as we speak. You can see the buses over my shoulder coming into Ross-Ade Stadium, getting ready for, frankly, what's probably going to be a tough day. We've got some breaking news for Ohio State, and it's not the kind of news that should make you shake in your boots, but it is at least notable. Ohio State is going to be without Emeka Egbuka today, which we knew yesterday, but also Mayan Williams is unavailable today. Travion Henderson is questionable. Jaden McKenzie is questionable, among some other players that we anticipated would be on the availability report. So, Anthony, as we get ready for a day that right now, thankfully, is dry, but temperatures in the mid-50s with a little breeze and rain expected, and a place the Buckeyes have had some frustrating moments historically, this game all of a sudden, I think, has a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, it feels like an old school Big Ten game, right? Like it feels like a weird afternoon. Like the sky behind you is gray. You know, got rain in the forecast. It's a little cold. Like this is one that feels like hey, we're going to run the ball. And it's going to be a low scoring game, and that kind of a feel to it. And then you get the injury report, and it's like, this isn't. It's just not what you want to see, especially for a team that is trying to hit their stride. And we talked about it all week. Like it's really important for this unit, and especially on offense, to start showing what they're capable of doing, and like we said, start fast and finish drives and all these things. And then you come in today and you're going to be missing two of your top three running backs, and you're going to be missing Emeka Egbuka. Now I'm sure none of it is a surprise to the team. It's sure breaking news to us. So you hope that they were able to prepare for it throughout the week, Emeka especially. But it's still not what you want to see, going into today. And they're gonna have to make some adjustments. And hey, what a great week to ask the Dallas Hayden question too, because he'll get some tick today, I'm sure, with Chip Trayanum being the number one guy, and then you're going to have someone to give him a spell.
Yeah, I mean, Dallin definitely, I would think, is going to get some touches today. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Evan Pryor. Chip Trayanum should be the guy you're going to feature. And just to be clear, Travion hasn't been ruled out. He's questionable, but I would think that if he's questionable, that means he's not 100%. So I don't know that we're going to see a full normal Travion Henderson. And I think there is value in making sure you have him healthy for your biggest game of the year, your next two biggest games of the year with Penn State and Michigan. But I think we've also made it clear, man, you can't look past this Purdue team, because while there are so many reasons why Ohio State shouldn't lose this game, there have been lots of reasons why the Buckeyes shouldn't lose games that they've ultimately lost over the years where they've tripped up. This team is proving that they're really, really good, and they are also human. And I think we're seeing that around a lot of college football right now. At Ohio State, I'm sure as a team, they're not looking past Purdue toward Penn State next weekend, and they can't afford it. They've got to come out today and execute on a day that could be challenging.
And Brennan, you mentioned that in the past there's been examples of Ohio State slipping up when they shouldn't, and there's been examples at that stadium that's right behind you, where they've come in and gotten beat, and you just don't want that to happen. And I'm sure every one of our fans is waking up this morning seeing the score of last night's game, right? Colorado had that thing locked up at halftime, and then they let off the gas and get beat by a horrible Stanford team in a game that shouldn't happen. So you don't want that to happen today to our Buckeyes, because this would be one that if they do let it get away from them is going to be very disappointing, and they just can't. I don't think that they will, but it's just another emphasis of, hey, this is a very, very important game. Let's take care of business today, and then we'll move on to the Nittany Lions next week.
And it sounds like Purdue is also not totally at full strength either, but I want to keep things more focused on Ohio State. Look, I think we need to see a little bit better day from Ohio State's linebackers, which is a sentence I never thought I would say all season. But hopefully this can be a little bit of like a get-right day for Tommy Eichenberg and Steele Chambers, who I think people are unfairly, totally ripping on. They just haven't played last week. They didn't play up to the level that I think we're accustomed to seeing. They weren't a liability. They didn't play terrible, but they weren't unbelievable. And I think we often get caught as a fan base in some of the hyperbole around how this stuff all plays out. So, look, Tommy did have 13 tackles last week. He was still effective. This is the kind of day I think you want to lean on your defensive front, and you need your offensive line to block well in the run game today, because I don't know how well conditions are going to be, later as the game goes on and as we are anticipating some rain in West Lafayette. I don't know if it's going to be the kind of day that you see Kyle McCord want to just chuck it all over the place.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, like I said at the jump, like it's going to be a kind of an old school feel, and to it this afternoon, which will just be different, and it'll be another different challenge for these Buckeyes. But I think some things still remain. I think in my head that it's super important that this team comes out and it looks right early. Maybe that doesn't mean, initially earlier in the week, I was hoping we could get a big scoring day, maybe throw it all around the yard, get comfortable doing that, but it's not going to be the case today. That doesn't mean you can't start fast. That doesn't mean, you can take a nap in the first quarter. I think it's really important that if you do get 2 drives in the first quarter, or the first, 4 drives in the first half, that they end in scores, or you push the ball down the field and you have sustained drives. I think that still has to be an emphasis today. Start fast and then continue on the offensive side of the ball, continue to build throughout the game. It can't be like this. It's got to be a steady incline throughout the game.
That start fast, I think, is the biggest key after especially what we saw last week, which maybe was a little bit anticipated because of the coming out of the bye, but still it needs to be a faster start for the Buckeyes today. They've got to play with urgency early in the game. And we'll be following that all along the way. But in case you're just joining us as we wrap up here, the news today, Mayan Williams is out. Emeka Egbuka is out. In fact, I know for sure Emeka did not even make the trip. Ryan Day said that to some local media last night. And Travion Henderson is questionable. Jaden McKenzie is a game-time decision as well. So hopefully those guys are able to play. That's the big news pregame here for the Buckeyes. And hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and that we don't have to have any sort of thoughts about a repeat from what happened back in 2018. By the way, there's only 2 guys on the roster that are still here that were here when that debacle happened back in 2018. That's starting right guard Matt Jones and starting safety Josh Proctor, who's coming off of, I thought, his best game of his career.
That's still crazy to me. I mean, 2018. So I was in college. I was playing that day.
That's true. That's true. So it was a long time ago. It's been a while since the Bucks have been here, and hopefully today ends up being a day where we've got much happier memories. We are still kind of learning our way around the press facility here when we get in the stadium, but it's our anticipation that we're going to stream the post-game press conference live as we always do after games. If we can't do it live, we'll certainly have it posted right after it's done, but know that we're certainly intending to stream that live. And then we'll have our normal post-game reaction show the same way we always do, talking about what we hope is going to be a big Ohio State win and setting the table for a huge noon kickoff next week. In the meantime, I'm sure everybody knows by now, but in case you don't, you need to subscribe to Peacock to see this game because it is not available on broadcast TV or any other streaming service. It's an exclusive game on Peacock. Watch the Buckeyes and the Boilermakers at 12 noon. For Anthony Moeglin, I'm Brendan Gulick. We'll see you in a little bit. For all the latest news and info all day long here in West Lafayette, check out BuckeyesNow.com.